Arpeggios sounds like one of those things that's going to be a brand new study of a lot of complex stuff. It's going to take a long time and we're going to have frustrating results. Now, while it is true there's a lot of great stuff to discover as you start applying arpeggios, getting started and succeeding is actually quite easy. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris. Today we will learn arpeggios the easy way. Now, arpeggios, simply put, are chords played one note at a time, but that idea can sort of trip us up when we first get started, and I'll show you why when we zoom in here in a second. Self-educating guitar players have a really rough time. There's a lot of information out there, and very little of it contains any actionable context. Now, as you might be able to tell from the videos that I make, I take great care in providing guitar players enough context, but not too much context, to get the job done and really understand what it is we're doing. I use these methods to help self-educating guitar players all the time, and I do it in my online guitar academy called The Studio. The Studio is an online community platform that also includes rich educational content. There are free courses, dozens and dozens of curated individual lessons. I hold live events there, QA events, live practice sessions. You can post your progress on a subject and get direct feedback from me. I know the idea of a community-based online guitar academy might not be for everybody, but with that 7-day free trial, you can get in there, take a look, grab a few lessons, grab a few courses, maybe make a few friends, see if the fit's right for you. If it isn't, I totally understand that. If you do decide to stick around, I look forward to working with you. Arpeggios are simply chords played one note at a time. And that concept, while it's easy enough to understand, might lead us down a path where we assume that to get arpeggios under our fingers, we just simply have to learn to play every single chord we know one note at a time. But that method turns out not to be the easiest way to do it. Let's zoom in and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if arpeggios are chords played one note at a time, we could take any chord we know and simply play it one note at a time, and would that be an arpeggio? The answer is yes, that is an arpeggio. This is an A major bar chord, and that's an A major arpeggio, right? Now, this would suggest that we just go through every single chord we know and learn how to play them one note at a time. And while you can do that, and it's probably a good idea, there's an easier way. And that way is boiling chords down to their core element. So we're going to take this C major chord. Now the first three notes of this chord, C, E, and G, are all we need to play a C chord. There's some extras in here as well, but these three represent all the notes in a C chord, the C, the E, and the G. Those happen to be the root, the third, and the fifth of a C major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 5. And if we play it one note at a time, we have that arpeggio, right? We have that C major arpeggio. Now, what I'm going to do really quickly is take that note on the top, that G note, and I'm going to move it to the D string. I'm going to keep these two notes the same. And now I have another way of playing those same three notes. I'm going to do the same thing. Take that E note, put it on the A string, keep these two notes the same, and now I've got this. These are three different ways to play the same notes, and those notes are a C major arpeggio, right? That's great. That is the building block of arpeggios. We don't need to know much more than that, and I'm going to show you why. If I take that entire thing we just did and I move it up a whole step, so from C we go to D, those are all D major arpeggios, right? Do it again, up a whole step from D to E. I've just learned that one little piece of information, these three different ways to to play that same chord, and I've moved it up. Now I can play any chord I want to. I can arpeggiate any chord I want to, at least any major chord, right? How about A? Here's an A on the E string, right? E, F, G, A. Let's give it a shot. Right? I can play an A major arpeggio now, and I didn't even have to learn an A major arpeggio. I just learned this one method, and I moved it to A. Now I can use these over chord progressions. I'm ready to rock, right? As long as I've got this small little technique down, I can take it to a chord progression. Let's say a 1-4-5 progression in the key of A, which is A, D, and E, right? Here's my A major arpeggio. Here's D major. Here's an E major right here. You can hear how valuable this is, right? This happens to also be the bass line for La Bamba. It also happens to be the same exact notes for the bass line to Steer It Up by Bob Marley. Right? Now, we're going to run into more than just major chords. What about minor chords? I'm going to go back to that C chord. To make any chord minor, all you have to do is flat the third. A minor chord is root flat 3-5. So instead of this, we simply flat the third. Right? Let's move it back up to A and just experiment with that. Here's our A major. Root 3-5, root flat 3-5. Let's play it in all those different ways. Major, minor, major, minor, major, minor. Right? I'm just changing those C sharps into C's. Right, so now I've got 3 ways to make minor triads, right? Minor arpeggios, and I can play those anywhere. Right, those are all A minor triads, A minor arpeggios. So now I've got major and minor capability. There's only one other chord left in sort of like the major key, and that is the diminished chord. The diminished chord is the root, the flat 3, and now the flat 5. So here's our A major chord. Flat 3, flat 5. This is our diminished arpeggio. Right? I've changed the major one into minor and diminished, and I can do that in 3 places. Major, minor, diminished, major, minor, diminished. Now, armed with that, major, minor, and diminished arpeggios, I can play arpeggios for every chord in the key of A. I'm just going to play it real quick. It's going to look sort of impressive, but I'm going to break it down and you'll see we didn't learn anything new. Check this out. Right? That happens to be every arpeggio in the key of A, every triad in the key of A. A, B minor, C sharp minor, D, E, F sharp minor, G sharp diminished, and back to A. Now, it's not important that you know all the chords in the key of A. I'm just showing you where this leads eventually. We haven't had to learn anything new. I just played all these arpeggios in the key. Just by using that one shape that I learned, right? That one idea. And being able to make those major or minor, that one little shape, right? Okay, now I want to show you another thing about arpeggios. We've already seen that just this one little simple shape, just being able to move a couple of notes around, we can play major, minor, and diminished arpeggios. That's great. That'll get us an enormous amount of capability. And hopefully you can already see how valuable this is going to be. But let's say we run into an advanced chord. How about A major 7? An A major 7th chord has the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and now the 7th degree. So now do I have to learn a whole new thing here? Do I have to learn a whole new idea and a whole new shape for this A major 7 chord? Not really. Let me show you something. Now there are 4 notes here. If you break that into 2 sets of 3, watch what happens. We have an A major arpeggio, and if we start from that 2nd note, that's C sharp minor. So just knowing that one shape and being able to change it into major and minor, now I can play a more sophisticated arpeggio. A major 7. Here comes another complex chord, A major 9. That's the root, the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, and the 9. Don't even worry about if you know what the 9 is, it's not important. Again, I'm just showing you sort of where this ends up going. A major 9, it's a fairly advanced chord, right? It's an A major triad, an A major arpeggio, a C sharp minor arpeggio, and now an E major arpeggio. That all, you stick all those together, it spells A major 9. I haven't had to learn something new. Here comes a new one. A major 11. That's the root, the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, the 9th, and the 11th. You know what's going to happen here. A major, C sharp minor, E major, and now this G sharp diminished. Right? We knew that was going to come in handy at some point. So now listen to this. Right? I'm arpeggiating an A major 11 chord. I haven't had to learn anything new. With these little bits of information, and if you just take one shape at a time, just this one for example, major, minor, diminished, and you run those, really get them under your fingers, you have the building blocks to play arpeggios for any chord you can possibly think of. So hopefully you can see A, how valuable this study can be, and B, how easy it actually is. Just getting that one little idea down, being able to change it into major or minor, we can use that idea, that concept, that one technique, and build out any chord we can ever possibly think of. That's pretty powerful stuff. Remember to take these studies slowly. Go slowly at first, get the technique down, add in a metronome, make sure you can get really clear results out of each one of those notes, and that the arpeggios flow well in time. Once you've got that down and you've got solid timing, the sky's the limit. Tabs for this lesson are available on my Patreon page. That's always linked in the description of the video. Head on over there if you want to grab them. The description also has links to my Arpeggio Mastery course that's coming up, as well as a link to join me in the studio. As always, I hope you found this lesson interesting. I hope it's been accessible for you. I hope it's opened your eyes to arpeggios. Above everything else, stay curious, and I'll see you next time.